Hey y'all, it's Donna again. And today I'm coming on here because I want to show you how to make a cake. And it's a 90-second cake. That's all it takes to cook. It's got one net carb in it. And it's something that you can throw together very quickly. And it will just kind of curb that sweet desire that, that we often get when we were cutting the processed foods and things and cutting the sugar out of our body. That our body starts kind of going, oh, I need some sugar. So I want to show you how to make this cake today. And the first thing that you're going to do is start with a ramekin. Now this is an 8-ounce ramekin. It's one of the new ones that I got at Christmas. This is the 6-ounce, and you can see them side by side. This one tends to overflow. So I found that the 8-ounce works better. And the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take some butter. And you need 1 tablespoon. And if you notice, these are marked off. So I'm just going to cut this right here. Get 1 tablespoon. And I'm going to drop it in my ramekin. I'm just going to take it and drop it in here. Now, I want this butter to melt, so I'm going to pop it in the micro. And I'm going to pop it on 30 seconds. And while that's melting in there, we want it to melt because it's not, we don't want it to like melt while we're baking the cake because it, will get melted places, in places and, none in the other. So while that's melting, I'm going to mix together, I've got 2 tablespoons of almond flour here. And I'm going to take, I have a teaspoon, or 2 teaspoons of sweetener, and I'm using monk fruit. I have a tablespoon of cocoa. Now, I don't normally put all these in these little things. I just make it together in the little ramekin. But I did this so that I could show you. I've got a tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder. And I've got 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. This was cocoa powder. I hope I didn't say baking powder. And then 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. All right, so my my butter is melted. And you can see that it's not completely 100% melted. But what I do is I run it around the edge. If you can see that, I'm kind of running it around the edge, and it's buttering the dish. Other recipes that you have call for to spray your dish with oil or something like that. I don't want to do that. I just want to use the butter and let it be my oil that keeps it from sticking. So we've got the almond flour, we've got the sweetener, we have the cocoa, we have the baking powder. I also will be putting in a half a teaspoon of vanilla and 1 egg. Now, that's cooking too fast. Okay, now you can see it's completely melted. Now what I like to do is, the first thing that I like to put in is my sweetener, because I want it to kind of dissolve, and the hot butter will tend to do that. So I'm putting in the sweetener, and I'm just kind of mixing it together with my butter, just like that. And then I'm going to take the almond flour and the cocoa powder and the baking powder, and I'm going to mix those all together in one bowl. Now, like I said, normally I don't do this. I put them just all in one bowl. But I've got everything in here now. That's almond flour, baking powder, and cocoa powder. And I'm just going to stir this up. Just want to kind of mix it so that your baking powder is not like all in one little pocket or something. So I'm going to mix it together. And I'm going to pour it into my butter mixture, my butter and sugar. And I'm going to mix that up. You just want to mix it until it's wet. And it's going to look kind of clumpy. And that's okay, because it's going to loosen up a little bit when you put your egg in. And your vanilla. So I'm going to add my vanilla now. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of my vanilla. Oh. So I have a half teaspoon in there, and I'm going to stir that really well so that it gets mixed in. And you see that that brought it together a little bit. It's more, looks like a little dough now. And it's going to get even a little bit looser when I put in the egg. Now, they say to take the egg and to mix it in another bowl. I don't do that. I'm just going to crack my egg right into this bowl here. And I'm going to bust the yolk. And then I'm going to stir, so that it gets it all mixed in. Because you don't want yolk floating around by itself. You don't want the whites floating around by itself. You really do want it to blend. This takes just a few minutes. I mean, just to make sure that you get it well blended. Because you don't want pockets of your batter to not have egg mixed in with it. So I'm going to mix it really well. And you can tell when it's, you know, when it's mixed really well, because if you can see now, I've still got lumps. So I want to just kind of keep mixing until I get those lumps out. Okay, so I've got the lumps out. Just kind of blending it, make sure it's nice and smooth. And now this recipe also calls for chocolate chips. I don't put all of my chocolate chips in at one time. I'm going to put just a few in there and kind of stir it a little bit. And then I'm going to add some more once I pull it out of the microwave. It just adds a little bit more creamy chocolate in here when you cook it. Okay, so that's made. There's my batter, and I'm going to put it in the micro. And I'm cooking it for 60 seconds. Now, while that's cooking, I want to kind of show you some things that you really need to have if you're wanting to make sweet stuff. These are Lily's semi-sweet style baking chips. They're made with stevia. In about 30 chips, there are 9 carbs, but 4 of those are fiber. So you're only getting 5 carbs out of about 30 chips. Now, I don't really know how many people would use 30 chips. I know I'm not going to. But they have all different kinds of flavors in these. I got these at Walmart. You can get them at Amazon, online. This is the semi-sweet. I also have the dark chocolate, which is what I'm going to put on top when they come out. They also have the caramel, salted caramel chips. They also have milk chocolate chips. And then you can get them also in bars. My husband loves the caramel chips. I'm not just real crazy about them because I'm just not real crazy about caramel. I like it okay, but it's not one of my favorite things. Mine are the dark chocolate and the semi-sweet. Those are my 2 favorites. Okay, so our cake is done. It's a little hot, but I want to show you our cake. 1 minute cooking in the microwave, about 2 minutes making it, putting it together, and you've got a cake. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to let this cool. Before, though, I'm going to add some of my chocolate chips on top because I just like them melted kind of on top. So I'm just going to drop some on here and let them melt a little bit. And then what I'll do when it cools a little bit, I will make some frosting with cream cheese, very low carb, less than 1 carb. Add a little bit of confectioner's sugar to it, mix it together, maybe add a little bit of vanilla in there. Just mix it up and spread it, and it will be my icing for this cake. The great thing about this is that it will keep in your refrigerator if you want to make these like a couple of days in advance or whatever. It'll hold in your refrigerator really well. Again, these are the ramekins that I got that have the lids on them. It makes it so nice. So, another thing that I want to show you is because you can add peanut butter to it. Now, this is my peanut butter. Now, I've got it upside down because the one thing about all natural peanut butter that doesn't have sugar added to it, it has oil. You can see that floating on top. If you don't turn it upside down, if you keep it like this, the oil is going to be on top of your peanut butter, and it's very hard to mix. So I keep mine upside down so that the oil will float to the bottom, and then I can pull some out, and it'll mix a lot easier with that. This is Smucker's natural peanut butter. It has 0 sugars, none. The only thing in here is peanuts and a little bit of salt. This peanut butter we can have when we're eating low carb. Now, peanut butter is going to be a little bit higher in carbs just because of the peanut. It has 7 carbs in 2 tablespoons, which isn't bad, but the net carbs would only be 4. So this is something that you can pull if you're like just really hungry and you just really need something quick. Grab you a tablespoon of peanut butter and eat it, and it's going to help satisfy that craving. So here we have our cake that we've made, and I mean, you can see it's spongy, it's moist, it's got a lot of moisture in there, and it's just a great little dessert. My husband likes these after dinner sometimes. If he just wants something a little sweet, I can throw this together in less than 5 minutes and he has a dessert. So I hope you found this helpful. Hope you found it something that you might want to try. I'm going to link the recipe in the bottom in the description so that you'll have it. Try it. You can, if you don't have ramekins, you don't have to use ramekins. You can use a mug, or you can use like a cereal bowl or something like that. But just a real quick, easy dessert to help kind of stave off that I want something sweet and I want it now, or I want something chocolate and I want it now. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll try it. Let me know if you try it and what you think. And if you have any ideas or things that you would like to see me do, just be sure and leave me a comment, and I'll try to get to those. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.